C.S. Lewis used to say that when you find a friendship starts, he says, when two people get together and say, "Oh, you too." For me, a calling was the aha moment that I said, God and me are similar. So I felt like we had something in common. And then that kind of grew into me and the church are similar. And I think that developed a friendship. Even to this day, many of the people that I minister with consider a friendship with me at some level or another. That's one of the virtues that I cherish in life, if not the most. The friendship has been a topic in my life. I want to connect with people, but more than the shallow friendships, as it were. I think there is an intellectual nature to friendship. To try to force a priest to be alone. I'm not talking about marriage priests or anything like that. I mean, because that's a different topic. But there is the promise of friendship and fraternity that's given to a priest in the seminary. You form those relationships, strong relationships in the seminary. So basically, it's like training a troop of soldiers, and they learn how to work together, how to attack, how to defend together. And then you take and turn it into an army of one and send them into Cambodia by themselves to do something and expect them to survive in the middle of a war. We have cultural challenges as a church and as people, as men, and then we're tossed by ourselves, It's like we're firemen and we're supposed to remain unburned, and with no effects, Eventually, I began the ministry, and it was a different thing: parish, diocese, structures, administration. And I figured, well, this is what the church is calling me to do, so I'm going to do what the church requires of me. Mm-hmm. And it didn't feel like a glove. If I were to sum up the greatest thing that I did as a priest, probably, or that Lord did through me, was be able to organize people and to be able to create a congruent mission to be able to move forward, as a community. And I think I needed to shake things up a little bit, and that's what the Lord did. I mean, I think it's like in His own way. All of a sudden, you come to terms and says, "I cannot do this forever," And I think that's the question that remains there. I mean, it's to be a decision of conscience inside your heart. What's going on in here after 27 years of marriage? That things are not working out. They're trying to make it work for whatever reason, and it's not working out, and it's not working out, and it may never work out. And I think coming to terms with that is very hard, because it's something you have dedicated so much energy into it. But I think mostly it's fear that there is something else out there for you. And I think for me, it was fear. I left the priesthood and I moved to a place where I only know two people, and they live in the other side of town, so I wasn't even related to them. It's like you feel like you're in the abyss and you're gonna jump off, and there's nobody to catch you. But I think I had faith, and I said, well, if this is what the Lord wants, you close your eyes and you go for it. My spiritual director says, your hair is not gonna go on fire, the little there is left. The worst thing that can happen is that you may lose a few friends. I enjoy going to Mass and sitting in the first pew. I go to Mass every Sunday. I see some initiatives here in Minneapolis. I mean, there's a group of priests that I met, and they live in community, the diocesan priests. Their mind think alike, and they like-minded, as you say, and they go to different parishes, ministries, chaplaincies, but they all live together. They are committed to a life of prayer, meals together, and other things like that. And I think it's very appealing for younger clergy. There's a saying, if you want to make God laugh, show Him your plans. Part of the calling is having plans about it. And I always thought, when I was in the seminary, towards the end of the seminary, it had become apparent to me and to my formators that I should be a teacher, and I really love teaching. I think teaching is something that I feel energized by it. I wish I had a blackboard, in a bar. I'm in a restaurant and I'm drawing things in a napkin, because I want to teach something. I do have an ontological reality because I'm a priest, and that never leaves me. yeah, I got superpowers, and if they're needed, I'll open my I don't have any investments here, but I maneuver to that, and I'm trying to be of service, and what can I do for you? Spend time with this person. If one day the Lord is tired of me, I'm gonna get hit by a truck or something, and that'll be the end of it, or I get sick, or He'll take care of it. But in the meantime, the fact that I'm healthy, I think I'm called to share whatever I've learned